Gitmo Guard and Army veteran Montgomery Granger is joining us right now. Sir, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service and everything you've done. And we really wanted to talk to you and get your insight this morning. You just heard what I said about what the vice president had to say as she speaks right now in Vietnam about this credible threat. With everything I laid out there, what does that tell you? What type of threat do you think this is? And how dangerous could this be for those Americans and those Afghan allies who are desperately trying to save their lives and make their way to that airport for any chance of freedom?
Yeah, that's a good question, but you have to understand the Taliban goal is chaos. And we don't know which group has made this threat. Is it the Taliban? Probably not. Is it ISIS? Is it Al-Qaeda? They certainly have the capability to shoot one of these planes out of the air. They've
Really?
captured a devastatingly large cache of American weapons. They have their own weapons. We have to assume the worst, and that's how the military planners are looking at it now. They're assuming the worst, expecting the worst, and preparing a response for that.
What do you know about, as the president keeps calling it, ISIS-K in that area? Because we've heard a lot more about that in the last few days and about different threats that they've made and the fact that ISIS in itself doesn't like the Taliban just as much as they don't like us.
Right. So these guys are all friends. They know each other. That's the only explanation.
And your knowledge about ISIS in this region, if you could please continue on.
Sure. So the Taliban are playing games. They're like kids in a candy store. We've learned very quickly after their takeover that ISIS and Al-Qaeda are their friends. They can deny it all they want, but the only explanation for ISIS and Al-Qaeda being able to operate is Taliban acquiescence. And this is what we saw 20 years ago, that they harbored these international terrorists. The Taliban wants you to believe they don't export terror. But they are indirectly responsible for 9/11. That's why they were captured on the battlefield and sent to Guantanamo Bay in the first place.
Well, speaking of Guantanamo Bay, the Taliban appoint a former Guantanamo detainee as acting defense minister. Now, this is according to an Arab news site. They say that this person was in charge of the force that entered the Afghan presidential palace in Kabul. Now, we all saw that photo of the group of them, sitting around the desk there. Some of these detainees, they return once they're released, and that's the video that we're talking about. They return in an elevated status, almost as heroes, correct?
You took the words out of my mouth. One of the false narratives about release Gitmo detainees is that it's good that we empty it because this is a recruiting tool. But the truth is what we've been seeing, that these do receive elevated status. They're received as heroes, and they're given higher positions than when they left. They're looked up to, and we're seeing more and more former Gitmo detainees appointed to leadership positions within the new Taliban regime.
Yeah, wow. It's unbelievable. It really makes you wonder why we're releasing them in the first place. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we were a little short on time, and they're dealing with the situation over there in Vietnam, and the vice president is speaking live. But Montgomery Granger, thank you so much, and we'd love to have you on again sometime to discuss this further. Appreciate it, and thank you for your service.